Hey guys, it's Cassandra with Pecan Porch Boutique coming at you with another little video. My sister found this cute little secretary desk at a estate sale and she picked it up for only $15, y'all. So we are going to give it a little makeover with some florals maybe and see if we can make it just a little bit more pretty than it is. It's not in bad shape. It's dusty because it's been sitting out under my garage. But other than that, it has a drawer. It has an inside with a couple of shelves. It has some kind of pretty crude little legs on it. But I think we can make it a little bit prettier. First thing I'm going to do is start off with some cleaning. Because like I said, it's been sitting out under my carport for a while, so it's pretty dusty. I also decided that I wanted to give it a really big pop of color. But I hate trying to paint these little inserts on the insides of these discs, so I am going in with some spray paint. Yes, some spray paint. I am going to give it a really bold pop of red so as to, when you open it, you're going to really get that pop of color. Now this was kind of a windy day, but it was so mild outside and I knew the next day was going to be kind of cold. So I took my chances with the spray paint. It's probably all in my hair and everything else, but I went ahead and took my chances and got this all sprayed up. While the guys picked up a bunch of pecans that were laying around in my yard. So I'm going to be using a different way to blend my colors together on this piece. And I'm going to show y'all kind of what that's like. It's easy, especially if you're challenged like me with blending. I am going to be using 3 colors to blend with. And these are all DIY paints. I'm first laying down some gypsy green on each side of that front flap of the desk. And then I'm coming back and I'm going to lay down some sandy blonde beside my gypsy green on each side. And then I'm going to come back in the middle with some petticoat pink just for to give it kind of a little bit of a highlight. Okay, now that I have all of the colors laid down, I am going to be using this Worcester foam, not foam, it's kind of a lamb skin, I think, applicator. And I'm not even sure what this tool is for. Maybe stain or something like that. But the whole point of this is to mush these colors together. So I am going to be using that applicator. I'm going to be spraying a little bit of water on the applicator and onto the piece just to kind of make these colors move around. And then I'm going to take that applicator and I am just going to start mushing these colors together. Because remember, the whole point of blending colors together is to pull those colors together but eradicate those transition lines between the colors. So you'll see here that I am just going to spritz it with water as I need it so as to get these colors to move around, putting a little bit more water on my applicator, and then just taking the applicator and going between those colors and pulling those together by just mushing them in. This is a really easy way to blend your colors together, but if you don't have this tool, you can do the same thing with a shop towel. Just a damp shop towel. It will also give you a little bit of texture. Just take the shop towel, move it around like I'm moving this applicator between the colors, and you will get this same similar effect. So with the first coat of our mushing technique on, I am going to get some paint on these drawers and around the lower half of this piece. And in my mind here, I'm still trying to figure out how I am going to kind of separate the colors between the top half and the bottom half. So for now, I'm just going to go over all of it with some sandy blonde as I continue to think about how I'm going to lay this out. Most times as I'm working on a piece of furniture, I am still trying to figure out the layout, the pattern, what it's going to look like, what I'm going to use while I'm working on the piece. So as I go along and as things come together, I am still kind of trying to sort out in my mind what this piece is going to look like in the end. So here you'll see me doing the same thing that I did on the front flap of this piece that I'm doing. I'm going to do that same thing here on the sides, and I'm going to lay down my gypsy green. I'm going to lay down my sandy blonde with my petticoat pink in the middle. I'm just going in a different direction. Okay, so since that was only our first coat of paint, we have to do this again with the second coat of paint. So this is a really good time now to maybe, if you want to add a color, if you want to take away some of the amount of a certain color, this is a good time to do that now. But I'm just going to do that process all over again, giving this piece a second coat all the way around. So you can see with this second coat, I'm getting a more of a full look, and there's no more wood. You can't see any more of the wood underneath here. So you definitely need to do a second coat, just as if you were painting on the piece. This paper is from Recycle Treasures, and this is called Wallpaper. I am going to be using this paper on the drawer fronts of the piece, and so it's kind of good that I did the sandy blonde color along the drawers and along the edge of the piece, because this is going to act like the background for my decoupage paper. So I've cut the paper a little bit wider around all the sides of the drawers, just so I'll have that little bit to trim off, making it very nice and even. I'm going to be using DIY's liquid patina to lay it down into, and I'm also going to be using the liquid patina to seal off this whole piece. But if you don't have liquid patina, you can use any water-based top coat to lay your decoupage paper into. Once I get the paper onto the piece, I'm going to use just a piece of cling wrap to just kind of smooth it out and get any wrinkles out. And then I'll come back with the sandpaper and trim all of that off so that it's nice and neat. And this is where we are so far. We have gotten 2 coats of our mushing technique on all around the piece. I added the sandy blonde to the bottom half to give a lighter background for the Recycle decoupage paper. And I think it is coming together. You can see that the petticoat pink kind of gives a little bit of a highlight within that gypsy green and sandy blonde. And so now I'm just thinking about how to move on, and I have decided to go with the IOD inlay for the sides. This is IOD's Rose Chintz inlay, and one of my favorites. This was one of the earlier inlays that they came out with. I am going to be laying that down in the same liquid patina as I used for the decoupage paper. With the inlays, you want to make sure that you lay it down with the grid side facing you. So I'm just going to lay that in there onto my liquid patina. I'm going to also, these can also be matched up, but in this case, I'm not matching them up. But I did go ahead and trim off those little edges that where the pattern doesn't go all the way out to the side, just so I can butt it up against this smaller piece up against the larger sheet that I have. And I'm just going to lay that down there together. I am going to take my mister, once I'm done laying this down, mist it a little bit, take a shop towel, and just kind of firmly press that inlay into that liquid patina. Because the paint on these inlays is live paint. It's actual paint. And so spritzing this up, mushing it down, making good firm contact onto my piece through that liquid patina. You can see that I'm doing that now. One note on the inlays, they are intended to be laid into paint, but because I already had my background, I'm going to lay it into this liquid patina. You can, when you're using paint, get more than one use out of them, but when you use them with a liquid patina or some type of top coat, because it's meant to seal, you will only get one use out of it. But that's okay. I'm going to go with the one use on this one. So once it's dry to touch, that's another thing you don't, if you're using it in a top coat of some sort, you don't want to let it sit too long because it'll get really hard. So once it's dry to touch, I'm going to take my mister, I'm going to spritz it again just so that it loosens up enough for me to peel it off. And looky, I love this part of it, y'all. It is still kind of wet, but it came out really pretty. So now, y'all, I'm going to move on to using some DIY Dark and Decrepit. Dark and Decrepit is a patina, one of a few patinas made by DIY Paint. And it is kind of a stain look, a dark stain look. And I am going to be using that liquid patina to freshen up some of the wood parts of this piece that I've decided to leave wood. So here you'll see me going over that inside flap of the desk with the liquid patina, just putting it on and freshening up this wood. Liquid patina is already a sealer, so I won't need to go over it with any type of sealer. So let's take a look back at where we started, y'all, and look at where we are now. I found a piece of wood beam to add to the front. I added some handles, kind of did some color on the legs, and I think this little disc turned out so pretty. Tell me what you guys think. Thank you so much for coming along with me. I hope that you will give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. See you next time. Bye-bye.